No, I listen to it all the time. I tell all my friends to smack it raw.
Following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the host are not necessarily those of the host. Listener discretion is advised. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Smackin' Raw podcast, episode 188. I am your host, the Warden, Matt Ritter. I am here with my co-host, who is on time this week, Daddy Delgado himself.
Daddy's home.
Clearly.
And on time this time.
Clearly home. He's not in heaven this week. We've got a couch. We've got a chair. We can see the TV.
Yeah.
There's some definition behind you. You're settled in. You're officially moved in now.
Yes. Wednesday, I officially moved in. I have my furniture moved in, everything. I just have to finish unpacking some small little trinkets here and there.
So what you're telling me is when this episode ends and you get up and take your pants off and go into the bedroom, there's actually a bed for you to sleep on. Yes, you don't have to put your pants back on and drive somewhere else.
Well, what I did is I ended up getting my mattress over. So I had the mattress on the floor for a minute and I was still sleeping here, but I didn't have the bed frame and the box spring and the whole base foundation. I had to order that separately. So okay. I'm like, because I wanted to get a brand new one. The old one I had was just kind of like,
Yeah.
So new place, new furniture, new foundation, new vents.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Well, as we do, we're going to kick off the show and ask you guys a couple of things, actually. One, please go check out the Black Lives Matter t-shirts over at whatamaneuver.com. Vince has the hoodie on, created by our friends over at youngkingswrestling.com. Beautiful logo, and the money that is received from the purchase of the shirts is put into a fund, which is then donated to causes, people who need the money to get the justice, the assistance that have lost family members due to police brutality and crimes against African Americans. So it does not go to the Black Lives Matter organization, but the money is put in the hands of the people that need it and are going to use it to do the right thing. So please go do that, because again, it is still a thing. Like, nothing has changed. Just because it's not talked about doesn't mean everything's okay and everything's better. It's not. And also, we talked about Stop the Asian Hate last week. Justin said that there's an organization that you guys can go to and donate there to help support it. So we ask that you guys do that. Like, take the time to research the organizations that you're donating your money in, but put your money, if you're going to donate money, towards something, a cause that is for the betterment of society. Like, we need to stop these hate crimes. We need to help the people that are affected by these hate crimes. And there's no better thing you can do with your money than put it in the hands of the people that are trying to help the people that are affected by the hate crimes, or get laws instituted, or do things to erase these hate crimes. It needs to stop, plain and simple.
Definitely, for sure, man. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Got anything to add before we get into news and rumors?
No, man. I feel like you kind of said it. Kind of said it all. Like, it's just like figure out who you're donating to, making sure you're putting your money with the right people, and it's actually being used to help the right organization, the right people out. Not only with like the Black Lives Matter stuff, but also with Stop the Asian Hate. Like, just stop being like racist and a dick in general, please. Like, just why can't we just love everybody, you know?
And that place that you can go is the AAPI organization. So please go check that out. You can search AAPI, Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders organizations. Definitely go check that out. if you Google "Stop the Asian Hate" or "Stop the Asian Hate" organizations, they
Mhm.
will give you places to go where you can support that community. So please just go check that out.
And to make it easier, we'll go ahead and we'll make a post on the Instagram page and maybe even the Twitter page and give you links.
Yes,
Instagram's kind of bogus where you can't just click on the link, but you can copy and paste the link and then it'll take you straight to where you need to go. Well, if it helps out, we'll make the awareness, we'll broaden the awareness, and we'll make posts so you guys know where to go.
absolutely. All right, we don't have a whole lot for news and rumors this week. So if you got something that I don't talk about, feel free to bring it up.
Yeah.
First and foremost, unfortunately, Charlie on TV is no longer on WWE TV. She is signed full time with ESPN. She is no longer working with the WWE, and I am going to miss her severely.
Just watch ESPN.
It's not no, see, because then I like Charlie doing what I like Charlie doing. Kind of like I like Kathy Kelly doing what I like Kathy Kelly doing. I liked Renee doing what Renee was doing on the show that I liked. I'm not going to go in, I'm not into basketball and shit. So I'm not going to go watch Charlie talk about something I don't care about just to watch Charlie. Like,
that sounds like a personal problem, Matt.
I miss Kathy Kelly.
I can still go on First Take and watch Charlie.
I miss Renee and I'm going to miss Charlie.
Yeah. Well, one other big move is NXT moving to Tuesdays.
Yes, NXT is going to be moving to Tuesday, starting Tuesday, April 13th, the Tuesday after WrestleMania. And there's going to be a big debut on there that we're going to talk about when we get to NXT.
Mm-hmm.
We also have RVD officially announced as a Hall of Famer for the 2021 class.
Did we talk about Kane last week?
We did. We talked about Kane and Great Khali.
Okay. Got it. I couldn't remember about Kane if we talked about him or not.
And then the big news that broke today, Chris Jericho is going to be on the Broken Skull sessions on the WWE Network.
Dude, that's a must watch.
And I have to assume that this is a AEW Chris Jericho. This is not like a Broken Skull session that was recorded before Chris went to AEW. And
No. So I don't remember where like the actual report came from, but I was watching another YouTube podcast where they go ahead and do news and rumors, like they do a short form. And one of the things that they were saying is that Stone Cold, there was actually like a transcript of him saying and texting Vince for permission. Hey, is it okay if I bring Chris Jericho on the show? Gave him the thumbs up. He had to double check. He's like, hey, are you sure? Got the okay, got the green light. Then Jericho went ahead and asked Tony Khan. Tony Khan gave him his blessing, and this was all kind of like it all kind of stemmed from what I heard from the Undertaker's Broken Skull session. That Jericho reached out to Austin. It's like, man, that was amazing, like that was great. And then Austin saying that he would love to go ahead and do one with Jericho, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. From what I read,
it's fucking weird though, right?
Yes, but in a good way, right?
It's
kind of like when you discover a new kink in bed, like you didn't think you like it, but then you like it. And you're like, you know what? I don't know how to feel about this, but the sensation is there.
What kind of new kink, Vince?
No. I can't disclose my personal information on the show. Maybe that's no. Not that. Maybe that's for the Patreon. Maybe an incentive, go ahead and subscribe to the Patreon. You might get like instant backstage access to my kinks if you're really into it.
And also, if you guys are watching the video version on either YouTube or Pornhub, we appreciate it. But if you're listening to the audio, go check out the video versions on YouTube and Pornhub, because as of right now, my wife actually, right before we started the show, frantically text messaged me and said, hey, you need to move the penis. I forgot. And I reminded her she's already moved the penis. So Waldo is in the background in a new position. And every week you can try and find the Waldo's dick here in my background. It will move around. So yeah, that's a fun little thing for you guys to do on the video version.
I already found it. That was actually one of the first things I did once I hopped into the Zoom call with you, Matt. I was like, where is Waldo's dick?
Yeah, and where is Waldo's dick?
I found it, but the question is, has the viewers found it? Go ahead and watch it. It's great. It's
like she thought it was gonna fuck with me, and I was like, no, this is fantastic. That's on point.
This is great. Didn't Reek was looking frantically for it last week as well?
Yeah. No, Reek found it eventually. So
it took him a minute.
All right. So I've got a couple rants coming.
Yes.
I'm going to get them out of the way now.
Okay.
I am going to spit the women's tag team situation on SmackDown
Confuckle.
and the ending of Raw this week for the same reason, which is why I'm going to talk about it before we actually get into the shows. If you guys listen to the show and if you guys are a fan of the show, you guys know how I feel about the brand split and how it should be treated as what they presented it as. And one time a year, I'm okay with seeing SmackDown stars on Raw and Raw stars on SmackDown is the build to Survivor Series because that's what Survivor Series is branded. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean I have an issue with them interacting at pay-per-views. If at WrestleMania, where both brands are there and represented, they want to interact, perfectly fine with that. At the Royal Rumble, when you've got Raw guys and SmackDown guys in the Royal Rumble, because that's what the Royal Rumble is, I'm okay with that because both brands are there. But that doesn't mean on the lead up to the Royal Rumble, I want to see guys from SmackDown going to Raw and guys from Raw going to SmackDown. Stay on your fucking shows. Tonight on SmackDown, because we were recording this on April 2nd, Friday, Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, Lana, and Naomi showed up on SmackDown to attack the tag team champions. Now, yes, I realize that due to the stipulation of the women's tag team belts, that Shania can defend those belts on any show they choose, which is fine. Shania can defend the belts on any show they choose. That does not mean that women's tag team wrestlers from other shows can also show up whenever and wherever the fuck they want. Only Shania can go from Raw to SmackDown to defend the belts. And that's the whole point of it. If the tag team wrestlers could just show up whenever they want, then there's no point in saying the tag team champions can defend it on both shows. You just say that the women's tag team division isn't brand exclusive. And then you can have women from Raw wrestling women from SmackDown and blah, 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 blah.
But I wouldn't want that anyway.
I wouldn't want it either, but I'm saying that is the distinction. And that's where I draw the line is when you say that they can defend it on either show, that means only those champions can go from show to show. Everyone else needs to stay in their fucking box. Speaking of staying in their fucking box, if you are not a Raw contracted superstar, Baron Corbin, you do not get to take up a bounty put out by the Raw heavyweight champion, our WWE champion, Bobby Lashley. He said anybody, but anybody on Raw who qualifies to challenge for the WWE championship, or you do it on neutral ground. But other than that, you stay the fuck on your show where you belong. It's bad enough I got to see you on SmackDown doing dumb shit every week. I don't need to see you on Raw and SmackDown doing dumb shit every week. And on top of that, Vince, since I'm on a roll right now, they announced that, and I don't know if it was an April Fool's joke or not, but supposedly the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is going to take place on SmackDown, featuring fucking Raw superstars on SmackDown.
I was about to mention that. I don't know if you had heard
about
it or not.
I heard, and I saved it for this. Stop! Like, seriously, honestly, I'm so just drained from this shit because I need it. Okay, so here's the thing. I know people say things along the lines of, hey, why can't you just enjoy the show? Why does it matter? This and that, blah, blah, blah. It's all just fun, this and that. And for you, it might be, and that's fine. And I'm not saying that anyone listening to the show shouldn't enjoy it or needs to care the way that I do. You watch and enjoy the show however you want. If it doesn't bother you, I'm perfectly fine with that. But here's the thing. For me to enjoy the show, I need them to follow the rules that they set up in their universe. When they start breaking the rules of the universe they created, it's going to bother me. That's just how I function. That is my function. So them doing this bothers me. Them putting Raw superstars on SmackDown, even for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, because there's no real need to do that. You could have fucking put it on WrestleMania on a pre-show either fucking night. Didn't matter.
I think the reason why they're not doing that is because they're eliminating matches on their kickoff shows.
Don't care. It's not an excuse. That doesn't validate them putting Raw superstars in a battle royal on SmackDown. I don't care what the fuck they want to do. For me, it doesn't fix that problem.
Yeah.
What you could have done is you could have done a Raw Battle Royal on Raw and a SmackDown Battle Royal on SmackDown, and then at WrestleMania had the winners compete and a singles match, and that
No,
person is the Andre the Giant.
that sounds like the convoluted mess that was NXT's Battle
We'll talk
Royal
about that.
Gauntlet
Oh, I can't wait for
Eliminator.
that.
Jesus.
I'm done though. You guys know how I feel about it. It pissed me off, so I'm spitting both those things from those shows. Vince, where do you want to start? Raw, NXT, AEW, or SmackDown?
Let's start with Raw, since we're already talked about the Corbin and the closing segment of Monday Night Raw. Might as well just finish up Raw.
All right, so real quick, we had a PSA from the Hurt Business, which basically talked about exactly what we talked about, where Bobby's like, hey, anyone that takes out Drew gets a title shot. And then that's the end of the Hurt Business. He kicks out Shelton and he kicks out. Well, remember, I'm going to run down the show. Then we'll do a spit and swallows. New format.
Yeah.
Relax. Shelton and Cedric get kicked out of the Hurt Business. Riddle babbles to Titus. Sheamus wrecks Riddle, and then Sheamus defeats Riddle in a match. Shelton and Cedric ask for matches against Bobby. Shelton tonight, Cedric next week. Drew's running around paranoid because of the bounty. We got more Shane and Elias bullshit. Braun Strowman defeats Riker. Then we got the dirt sheet. That stupid fucking music video. Randy Orton promo on The Fiend. Bobby defeats Shelton. New Day tries to synergize almost in AJ while they plug their shit. And then we have a game night. AJ versus Xavier, which ends in a DQ. We get an Alexa promo. Drew beating up the locker room. And then setting up a match with him and Ricochet. Shayna versus Naomi ends with a brawl ringside. No one cares. Because again, they went to Raw or they went to SmackDown and fuck shit up. Riddle's forgetful promo that may or may not be scripted. Rhea and Asuka's contract signing. And then in the main event, Drew defeats Ricochet. All right. What are you swallowing from Monday Night Raw, if anything?
I think the only thing that I can honestly swallow is everything that Randy Orton, The Fiend, and Alexa did. Specifically, that promo that Alexa had while she was on like the swing set, and then it zoomed out to reveal that The Fiend was sitting with her the whole time. I like even Randy's promo is really, really good. I've seen some people dislike this feud, maybe because they've already seen Randy versus Bray Wyatt at some point, but this is different. This is a different little wrinkle. I like it. This is probably the Raw WrestleMania match that I'm most looking forward to. I was looking forward to Bobby Lashley versus Drew, but I feel like it's lost a little bit of its sizzle.
So I believe the people that don't like the Randy Orton Alexa Fiend feud are people who don't enjoy that kind of gimmicky, charactery, non-reality based storytelling. Now, I'm not going to knock those people because I do enjoy it. Because again, those same people might say, well, I enjoy what they're doing with the women's tag team division because, you know, they got the women on TV more, blah, blah, blah. They don't care about the things that bother me. So I'm not going to knock them for not liking it, but I do enjoy it and I'm glad we have it. Again, it's that horror / wrestling / a little bit of porno all mixed together.
I don't see the porno aspect of it. I think you just see it.
You didn't see Alexa Bliss drop down on Randy's dick and piss off his wife. You have not seen all of the comments of people comparing Alexa Bliss to basically one of these stepdaughters in a porno in her acting.
I mean, if anything, this probably inspired some weird WWE like porn fetish, like genre.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I will say this. Reek and I had a discussion that was a great discussion where we were talking about what The Fiend feels like. He asked me if I thought The Fiend was kind of like Freddy from New Nightmare. And I was like, nah, not really. You know, Freddy from New Nightmare was kind of like, to get Freddy from New Nightmare, you'd have to have like The Fiend never have had a match. And now he's showing up for his first match in like real life where he only exists in like a cinematic universe.
Yeah.
I look at it more, especially with even though it's a Jack in the Box and it's not a puzzle box, and especially the way Alexa described it in this promo, more like Pinhead from Hellraiser,
Yeah.
where he was weakened, he was trapped in the box, and she released him from the box, and now I mean, I've said this for a long time now, from when we originally got Alexa jumping into Randy's arms to like piss off the Fiend, and Alexa was cutting promos on Randy where Randy was saying that Alexa was just following the Fiend's lead, and she alluded to the fact that really she's the one that's in charge, that Alexa's been manipulating the Fiend this whole time. And I think as the story's evolved, that's where we're at now, is she allowed the Fiend to get burned. She pushed the Fiend into this feud with Randy Orton. And now that she's weakened him and he was contained, she's released him. And now it's her monster to do her bidding.
I like it.
And I fucking love it.
I think right now, like, unfortunately, like, the best woman on the Raw roster is Alexa Bliss, and she's nowhere near the title picture. Like, she should be champion.
I'm also gonna swallow Paranoid Drew. I did enjoy Paranoid Drew just going around getting in everyone's face and being like, I'm not gonna wait around for someone to jump me. One of you bitches step up and hit me. I love it and do something.
I fucking loved it.
He's throwing people around the locker room. He's doing that. I enjoyed that whole thread with Drew, which led to him, like I said, defeating Ricochet in our main event. Afterwards, Ali tries to attack Drew. Doesn't get it done, and then Bobby gets called out. They brawl, and that's when Corbin shows up, and that's where, I spit. I also really enjoyed the New Day game show stuff.
Yes,
it was hilarious. So I'm swallowing the New Day, the game show, almost getting sick of their bullshit. Causing the DQ in that match.
You know what? Yeah, I forgot to mention, like, I do want to swallow that whole, like, New Day, AJ, like, Almas stuff, because I loved it. It was like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. And he starts drawing the sun. It's like, do you not see it? He's trying to make it more clear. And Almas is just like, man, fuck this shit.
The more he drew on the sun to make it clear, the less clear it was that it was a sun. Like, the more he added, the less like a sun it looked like, which I absolutely loved. I also love that the New Day's whole thing was like, all right, well, if you guys are going to be a tag team and challenge us at WrestleMania, like, let's get you guys to be a tag team. Let's get some synergy going on here. Like, the New Day have been fantastic in this. Omos has played his role perfect. AJ playing that kind of comedic heel that,
like, that dunce heel.
Yeah. But you also know he's going to be able to go. Like, he's...
this match, I think this match has potential to be sleeperish good. This could be probably one of the better matches at WrestleMania, either night 1 or night 2, whichever night it's on.
Are you swallowing the at least the Bad Bunny Miz punch?
I'm gonna gargle the Bad Bunny Miz like whole stuff, because it wasn't bad, but it could have been better. Like, I will say this, like, I'm nothing against Bad Bunny, because I did say he could do no wrong. However, I didn't say WWE could do no wrong, and they are doing wrong by not including Damian Priest in this match. Like, the whole point was to try to get Damian Priest to get some of that Bad Bunny rub by just pairing him up together. Him being in Bad Bunny's corner, yeah, that's something, but it'd be so much better if Damian Priest was actually going to have a match at WrestleMania, have a tag match. Why? I feel like they just didn't. Maybe like, it was so simple. Just do the tag match.
Vince doesn't like tag matches. Maybe there's already too many tag matches on the card at WrestleMania for Vince.
Then don't fucking throw every single woman mixed up in a tag team on SmackDown and make like a whole convoluted gauntlet tag team eliminator bullshit. Just.
I'm with you though. I'm gonna gargle undecidedly because I hated the music video and the dirt sheet shit. But I really enjoyed watching Miz get socked in the face by Bad Bunny. So, like, I'm 50-50, so I'm gargling undecidedly as well.
The music video wasn't bad.
It was trash.
No,
it was fucking bad. Garbage. No, it was fucking garbage. I heard Reek and I heard TC go, yeah, it's kind of a bop. It's kind of a banger. And no, fuck that. It was terrible.
It had a nice beat to it.
No, it was terrible.
You know what? To each his own.
To each their own. It's not for me.
Yeah,
I feel like TC enjoyed it because he's kind of a Miz stan. So, like,
probably, which is surprising. You just kind of forget that.
Yeah.
I do want to spit hard. The whole Shane stuff, and I don't even want to talk about it. I just want
Braun, Shane.
Shane. What did I
Why
say?
you said Sheamus? Why are you hurting Sheamus? Sheamus has done nothing but good things.
Oh, I'm so
That
no,
was my
no.
other thing was I'm swallowing Sheamus fucking up Matt Riddle again, and then defeating Matt Riddle, and then getting a title match, like so he can beat up Matt Riddle some more.
No. Actually, I'm swallowing everything that Sheamus is doing. I'm eating my words. He's made me eat my words, and I will happily eat them, and I will swallow them, because Sheamus is on the tear. This is honestly the best he's looked in his career, like as a singles guy. I feel like this is the best run of his career.
I'm with you though. I'm spitting the whole Shane Elias shit with the match with Riker and Braun. I'm spitting them trying to jump him and then making a cage match at WrestleMania. I know you said, and I don't know if you wanted this out there or not, but in our group chat, you said you were going to take that time to drop a giant deuce during WrestleMania.
I will be dropping the giant deuce.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that I eat all the beans and all the everything that I can, so I can have a bowel movement during that match, and I don't have to sit through it. I also want to spit the contract signing between Rhea Ripley and Asuka, and everything that happened in between there, because look, they're both fantastic, they're both great, but I just for whatever reason this just feels rushed and just pieced together at the last minute. Rhea doesn't feel like Rhea and Asuka, the pairing right now, it just kind of feels very awkward. And then when she flipped the table over, I feel like she legitimately knocked out Asuka because she was down for the count for like a while. Like,
Which that part I was actually okay with. What made me spit this segment more than anything was them making the Rhea Asuka versus Shayna and Nia or Shania tag team title match for next week.
no, it's not a
Because
title match. It's just a regular tag match.
are you sure?
I'm dead ass. It's not for the titles.
Either way, why? Why do Rhea and Asuka need to work together as a tag team before they have a singles match against each other? Why
Because
do
they
they
don't know
need to?
what the fuck they don't know what the fuck they want to do, because they're like literally like I said, piecing this together as they go along, and they're really just out here just trying to figure out what the fuck to do week to week, because all they know is this is going to be our Raw Women's title match. How do we get there? Contract signing, tag match. No, it's stupid.
Yeah, no, this you just did this with Sasha and Bianca and people bitched about it. So now you're gonna do the same thing for the Raw titles match. Like,
Yeah,
why?
yeah.
I don't get it. So yeah, I'm
It's
spitting that. And then the biggest thing I'm spitting is they broke up the fucking Hurt Business.
thank you. Like, why? Why? Why break up the Hurt Business? They're one of the legit great factions that WWE has. Like, I'm still getting over Undisputed Era, and now they break up the Hurt Business. Like, why do you hate me so much? Like,
Here's my thing. If the Hurt Business is still intact with MVP and Lashley and they actually recruit new members, I'm not going to be extremely upset.
Asmat. No, but
Um I just you had tag team champions, you had the WWE champion, you had a chance to do something here where you could have brought in a third guy to be a mid-card champion,
yeah.
and you ripped the tag team titles away from Shelton and Cedric to put them on the New Day for almost his debut, which is really all it seems like that is, oh, we need a babyface tag team for a heel's big debut, so we're just gonna put the titles over here now, like, and we want to get New Day on WrestleMania, which I get and I'm cool with. And then you destroy that tag, like you destroy that team. Bobby gets pissed off, he kicks them both out. The whole match between them where
I want to spit the inconsistency with Bobby Lashley's character, not only on this past Monday, but leading like since he's won the title, because he was kind of like this tweener guy, and maybe because there's fans, perhaps WWE, Vince McMahon, they are afraid that Bobby Lashley's going to get cheered, because how can you not cheer for this man? He's been grinding and struggling. He went from company to company. He has the similar story as to Drew McIntyre. Like, their stories are very parallel. that should be the story. Just two badasses and allow the fans to choose who they want to root for. But I think that they're just afraid that they might boo Drew McIntyre and cheer Bobby Lashley, so they're trying to do things to make him more heelish, like him being like a chicken shit like champion, like putting a bounty on Drew's head. Like that doesn't sound like Bobby Lashley from 2 weeks ago. And him breaking up the Hurt Business, I guess, to get more heat on Bobby Lashley because he broke up the Hurt Business. But I don't know. I think it's small minded. I feel like it wasn't necessary. It shouldn't have been done. And even if they do recruit new members, I'm still gonna be pissed because Cedric and Shelton were perfect with the Hurt Business. Shelton is a longtime veteran that can go, and it's a perfect just guy in the faction with them. And Cedric is the young up and comer guy that they're grooming up to like build up. Hopefully they do something with Cedric, because I'm afraid they're just gonna be sitting in catering.
That's what I was going to say. Is here's the issue with them breaking up the Hurt Business now. They didn't get Shelton and Cedric over as a team because they fought that whole time while they were tag team champions, and they built that issue, and they didn't get them over as single superstars. So by breaking up the faction at this point and sending Shelton and Cedric on their way, there's not a whole lot of goodwill built in those guys to go forward and do something with them. Cedric did show out. Cedric did kind of, come into his own and promos as a heel and stuff like that. So maybe there's a little bit there. Shelton didn't get anything from being in the Hurt Business by ending it now that he can use to move forward and go with, other than still Shelton Benjamin. My other issue, did you hear the ring announcer announce a 2-on-1 handicap match?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even know what the fuck's going on, because they clearly said Shelton this week, and if there's anything left of Bobby, Cedric next week. Then Shelton comes out for his match, and Cedric's dressed in street clothes, and the ring announcer's like, the following match will be a 2-on-1 handicap. I'm like, no, what the fuck's going on? And it was a singles match. Shelton lost. Obviously, Bobby won. You gained nothing with the guys that you kicked out of the Hurt Business by kicking them out. And if you're going to break up a faction, there should be something in place for the people leaving in the fashion that they did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there should be something going forward for those guys, and there is nothing. So you're hurting that talent where they had a spot and now they don't.
Hopefully they at least stay as a tag team, because that will be a little bit better than them going their separate ways as singles guys, because I feel like they'll definitely get lost in the shuffle if they go single. But was that everything for Raw?
That was everything for Raw. Unless you got anything more that you either really didn't like or really did like.
No. I think we basically touched everything.
Are you spitting or swallowing Monday Night Raw as a whole?
As a whole, I'm just gonna spit it. Just because Hurt Business shit really pissed me off.
I'm gonna spit it because Baron Corbin ended my fucking night. When I saw Baron Corbin on my TV on Monday Night Raw,
you said fuck Raw.
And here's the thing: TC comes at me and he's like, "Yeah, man, just let the shit play out. You never know." I'm like, "Listen, if the trade rumors were true and we find out that Baron Corbin has been traded to Monday Night Raw in exchange for Charlotte, then at that point, I'll be like, all right, cool. I'm fine with that. That's good." But the fact that Corbin was on SmackDown this week talking about going back to Raw after Drew McIntyre.
That was so dumb.
Stay the fuck on your own show, you piece of shit.
I think the issue there is that WWE kind of, for Raw, is just like barren with talent. No pun intended.
It's WrestleMania season. We're just trying to make the show entertaining. Get the fuck out of here.
No, that's bullshit. That's them not properly building up their mid card and other guys, and now you're relying on SmackDown's mid card to try to like pick up the scraps here.
It's not even like Baron Corbin's built up on SmackDown's mid card,
but he's built up better than anyone in Raw's mid card. That's for sure.
Where do you want to go next? SmackDown, NXT, or AEW?
Let's finish it off with SmackDown. Get all this hostility you have about this brand shuffling stuff.
We go off the show with Edge bitching about Daniel Bryan's triple threat match. Alpha Academy and Rudolph defeat the Mysterios and Street Profits. Paul talks to Sonya about having Jay released of any culpability in injuring Daniel Bryan tonight. Seth and Cesaro have a face-to-face. Natalya defeats Shayna. And then the bullshit that I already bitched about and spit. Sammy and Logan Paul and the documentary trailer reveal. Carmella loses to Bianca. I just put down fuck Corbin. Baron Corbin's interview. We got a challenge for the Intercontinental title in a Nigerian drum fight at Mania. And then the Jey Uso Daniel Bryan street fight. What are you swallowing?
Do I have to swallow anything this week?
You don't have to swallow anything.
I'll
tell you what I'm swallowing.
I'm not swallowing anything on SmackDown.
Okay, you're not swallowing.
Nothing was bad, but nothing was good enough to swallow. It's just like
I disagree. I loved Edge's promo at the beginning of the show, so that's the first thing I'm going to swallow is Edge coming out. Because here's the thing: as much as I'm going to enjoy this triple threat match, I agree with everything Edge has been saying.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I've felt about this feud from the get-go. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean like I'm gonna, I can't believe they're gonna do a triple threat. This is so stupid, blah, blah, blah. They told a great story getting here, but it doesn't mean that Edge's points aren't valid. And I agree with everything Edge said about Daniel Bryan should realize why this is important to Edge. Daniel Bryan should see where Edge is coming from. Daniel Bryan should have stayed in his own fucking lane. And I love that he said, what?
How is Edge the heel in this? How is Daniel Bryan not the heel for Weasel?
Okay, so here's why. Travis says it all the time. A heel is someone who tells the truth, but it is the truth you don't want to hear. So the theory here is all of these people are Daniel Bryan fans, and they really wanted, as you've said yourself, to see Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns, and they were hoping for that. And now you're getting it. And now you're not only getting Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns, but you're getting Daniel Bryan versus Edge. And Edge looks like the bitter, angry man who doesn't want Daniel in the match. So the goal here is to have him speak the truth, but it's just the truth you don't want to hear.
But you know what? That's not the first time we've seen that happen. And honestly, that's a little teaser. I have a little countdown, a little new segment, and it's gonna be leading into that as well. Not this week, we're gonna have it for maybe next week, but there has been situations where a person weasels their way into a championship match at WrestleMania where they don't fucking belong. And you know what? I'm with you. I agree with Edge. Edge is completely in the right. Heels make a heel that makes great points. That's usually the best heels. And honestly, I'm just glad that Edge is a heel because I feel like that's probably his best role.
And even on commentary during the main event, which I also swallow because I really enjoyed that street fight. And being where I stand, Daniel Bryan wrecking everyone at the end of the street fight was fantastic.
Yeah.
Edge on commentary during the street fight, and even replying to Jey Uso, breaking his focus on commentary and being like, yeah, you're goddamn right. Get away from talking to Jey Uso during the fight while Jey was fucking up Daniel Bryan. I enjoyed that whole thing, but again, I agree with Edge. He came back, he earned what is normally a singles match against Roman Reigns. This is what was supposed to happen. Daniel Bryan snaked his way in. And it's going to be him making these points has made this feud better going forward. So I'm not going to sit on the fence of I agree with Edge, so this sucks and I hate it and blah, blah, blah. No, because I agree with Edge, this is so much better now. But I find myself rooting for Edge and not Daniel Bryan. I'm also a guy who generally doesn't root for Daniel Bryan. I wanted to see Triple H beat Daniel Bryan and keep him out of that WrestleMania main event.
Who wanted to see Randy Orton versus Batista?
It didn't matter. It wasn't that I cared about Randy Orton versus Batista. I didn't want to see a B+ player in the main event. I did not watch the Team Hell No stuff. I wasn't watching wrestling at that point. So when I came in, I agreed with everything Triple H said about Daniel Bryan. I didn't see any value in this guy. And I was like, fuck this guy and his stupid little movement. I don't want to see him succeed. I want to see the people that I know because I came back around that time, which is why WrestleMania 30, in my opinion, was my worst WrestleMania. The streak ended. Cena screwed over Bray Wyatt. Well, Cena didn't screw over Bray Wyatt, but Bray Wyatt should have gone over Cena. And then I got stuck with Daniel Bryan who I didn't give two shits about winning the main event.
Terrible, terrible.
It is what it is. Don't get me wrong. Since
You're
then,
lucky I can't mute you.
I've learned respect. I've earned respect, or Daniel Bryan's earned my respect, I guess.
Yeah.
Since then, I see the value in Daniel Bryan, what he brings to the table, and I really enjoy Daniel Bryan, which is why I'm excited for him in this match. But again, I'm not rooting for him to win. I don't want to see Daniel Bryan win.
I'm not rooting for either men to win. I don't know if I said this last week or 2 weeks ago, but I firmly believe that what they've done is they set up a great post WrestleMania feud between Daniel Bryan and Edge, because neither of them are going to walk away champion. Edge is going to be resentful of Daniel Bryan for weaseling his way out into that match and costing him his one-on-one opportunity to be world champion and get back to where he was when he retired all those years ago. And Daniel Bryan's going to be like, dude, like, I'm just doing everything you were doing. So I think that's going to be a great feud post WrestleMania, and Roman Reigns going to do something else. I don't think Roman's dropping that title.
But yeah, so I'm swallowing everything Edge, Roman Reigns, or Daniel Bryan that happened tonight, including Paul Heyman getting permission from Sonya to release Jey Uso of any legal implications that may come from him fucking up Daniel Bryan, because I love the fact that Adam Pearce was like, yeah, I knew you were gonna, yeah, and Sonya just like cut him off and was like, no, you make some good points. Okay. And Adam Pearce was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I love that they're playing this angle up and giving Sonya that power.
Yeah.
And you can see the tides are turning, and Sonya's going to be that heel GM
I love it.
figure. So yeah, I'm swallowing that. I'm swallowing one more thing, but it looked like you wanted to say something.
Oh, I just thought about the one thing I really do want to swallow is Billie Kay offering her resume to Carmella and then her keeping it. So maybe they're teasing something there. Carmella did say she want to create like a women's New Day, and the people she like had mentioned was Billie Kay and Bayley. I would love a faction between Billie Kay, and Carmella.
That could be fun. That could be real fun. I also think that might lead into what you said with the women, whatever match they have, where it'll probably be Shayna and Nia defending their titles at WrestleMania against the two teams from Raw, the two teams from SmackDown, and then maybe also Carmella and Billy, or they might be starting a tag team with Carmella and Billy going forward because they don't know what else to do with Carmella or Billy at this point. So I will swallow that as well, but I am spitting again. Natalia beating Shayna in like 30 seconds.
Jesus.
And all of the other bullshit that happened after that. And I already got into that, so I'm not going to go back into it. I want to swallow I'm curious about the Nigerian drum fight. I really liked Apollo's promo. I'm actually like, I love Big E, but I kind of want to see Apollo win the title. Like, kind of want to see IC champion Apollo Crews. So like,
that's the next natural course, because you can't really have this man turn heel, lean into this like amazing gimmick, and actually have some momentum for the first time in his entire wrestling career in WWE, including NXT, because in NXT he was just generic babyface, really good wrestler, indie guy. He didn't really develop a character before he was being called up. This is the first time I've seen him with an actual character and able to like run with it. So the next natural course is to be IC champion. And Biggie just transition him onto the main event scene. Maybe that's who Roman challenges next.
Is there anything specifically you want to spit other than the whole show, as you said earlier?
I want to spit Logan Paul.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm with you. So we have Sammy greeting Logan Paul when he gets to the arena. We have the world premiere of Sammy's documentary trailer. We have Logan Paul basically saying he isn't sold and kind of taking KO side. Somehow, from the point that Sammy greeted Logan Paul to them walking out to the ring, he had time to step away and have a conversation with Kevin Owens that Sammy did not know about. That bugged me. KO comes in and hits a stunner, which I was fine with. And then during an interview, Sammy jumps him later. I don't need Logan Paul. Like I said,
no.
And this wasn't a shot at Bad Bunny, because all I'm saying is we have the celebrity match and the celebrity involvement featuring Bad Bunny. So I don't also need Logan Paul. And in my opinion, he and his brother are kind of fucking douchebags. So like,
yeah,
not really interested in seeing that either.
It wasn't the fact that they had a celebrity in that role, it's who they chose to have in that role. This quote unquote celebrity, like
yeah,
Logan
YouTuber, blah blah blah,
whatever. No, you know who it should have been? It should have been Cardi B. They had teased some stuff about Cardi B joining WWE. Lacey Evans just cockblocked that whole thing. Give me some Cardi B on WWE. I want that. Maybe that's what maybe that's what that Bianca Sasha Banks feud needs is a Cardi B as a special ring enforcer.
That might help a little bit.
Add some edge to it.
I'm also spitting Seth and Cesaro. It was a face-to-face, and here's why I'm spitting it.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to go the route of having Cesaro just be out there making swing puns. And even though the last one he delivered seriously, where he's like, go ahead and take a swing, all
really
of
good.
the other shit that he said highlighted what everyone's been saying about why Cesaro can't make it in WWE past his current station, in that he can't cut a promo. Everything he said up until that very last part was not entertaining at all. Like Seth tried to save that segment. I was not like, this did not make me get behind Cesaro in any way, shape, or form going into this match. I think it did more to hurt them than help them.
He should be more like a Brock Lesnar and not talk as much. He really does need. They kind of like were onto something by pairing him up with Paul Heyman after WrestleMania 30 and him winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Maybe that's something that he could use. Maybe like a Malcolm Bivens. Maybe of course Malcolm Bivens needs a better like client than what's his name, Tyler Rust.
We'll talk about that too.
Yeah, so I think you're right. Cesaro on the mic, unfortunately, isn't the best. The final line that he delivered, just take a swing, that was perfect. He should have just left it at that. Maybe just take some Dexter Loomis notes and just not talk.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about Dexter.
I don't know who has a hard on for Dexter more, you or Indy Hartwell.
I think it's about equal. I'd fight Indy for Dexter. I think my wife would let me.
That's how you know you married the right one.
Exactly. SmackDown, spit or swallow.
I'm gonna spit it again, man.
I want to swallow it for all of the stuff going into the main event for WrestleMania Night 2, but I'm spitting it because, again, I cannot abide by Raw superstars appearing on SmackDown and then pushing this narrative and encouraging going forward with fucking Baron Corbin to keep doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fuck
I can't do it. And it's a me personal thing. Like, if people enjoy it, I'm not going to knock you for enjoying it. You can enjoy it. You can not care. I'm not asking you to agree with me. I can't do it personally.
Mm-hmm. And I totally get it because it kind of bugged me too. When I saw Dana and Mandy Rose come out, I was like, wait, are they SmackDown or are they Raw? And I was like,
I knew where they were.
No, and then I'm like, wait, hold up, what the fuck? No, it's only the women's tag team champions that can go to any brand they fucking want. Why are they here? Then I saw Naomi and Lana. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. So
I'm spitting. Man, I don't know. Maybe you're just rubbing off on me, Matt.
I'm spitting for that reason. I want it to make sense. Make it make sense, and it doesn't make sense.
Make it make sense.
Don't tell me that the sky is blue and then
it's fucking green, like if you're on Planet Namek.
Yeah. All right. Where you want to go, AEW or NXT?
Let's go AEW, I guess.
I knew you were to save NXT for the end. You almost always do. All right. So we kicked it off with Christian defeating Kazarian. We had a Darby Allin video package. We had Cody versus QT Marshall with a bunch of shit going on there, including a formation of a new AEW faction. Jade whipping wet Red Velvet during an interview. Don Callis confronting Matt Jackson. The Bullet Club defeating the Lucha Bros and the Laredo Kid. Inner Circle getting revenge on the Pinnacle. Mox defeating Cesar Bononi. Britt Baker doing an AEW Elevation promo. Tay Conti and Hikaru Shida losing to the Bunny and Nyla Rose. And then we finish off with the Arcade Anarchy match. Vince, what, if anything, are you swallowing from AEW? Because I know you're a little harder on them than I am. So I do have some swallows here.
So the show wasn't bad, but nothing really like stood out to me. I'm going to swallow. The main thing I want to swallow is Inner Circle getting their revenge on the
That
Pinnacle.
definitely stood out. That was fantastic.
That was fantastic. The way that the MJF opened the bathroom and then everybody's there. It's like, we need to leave now. And then he opens the door and Jake Hager is there. I was like, oh, this is perfect. The entire beatdown was fantastic. You know, it's going to lead into like a very good like feud, a faction feud match
Blood
between
and
these
guts.
two. Yeah. So I fucking love this. I'm also going to swallow Christian's singles debut in 7 years. Obviously, he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. He's in my top 10 all-time favorite wrestlers. I actually like him more than Edge, believe that or
And
not.
did I not tell you that Kazarian was the perfect person for him to have this match with?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they put on a match that you don't normally see in AEW.
Mm-hmm. It
And
was very well told. I thought it was good. There were moments in there where I was kind of worried about Christian because he kind of looked like he got rocked. But overall, the match was really, really good.
And that was Christian registering. And the other thing that Bully Ray brought up on Busted Open that I absolutely loved was he highlighted the fact that when you do a match the way that these guys did it, it allows for the commentary that you got from Tony Schiavone and JR. Because a lot of times in AEW, it's spot after spot after spot. There's nothing in there to breathe. So JR and Tony are just trying to keep pace with the match, and they can't get their the commentary. Their style of commentary doesn't complement these kinds of matches, which is why a lot of people complain about how JR doesn't have the passion anymore and this and that. But a lot of JR's lines and the quotes and everything come in those moments where things are being registered and sold, and you know that story is being told in a slower paced match.
And that just goes to show that like he was commentating for a long time the WWE style, and that's where he really shined. And even when he was on WCW style was very similar to the way WWE does pro wrestling. So he's not used to doing these indie style like commentary type matches. So this is new to him. This isn't his forte. So when you give him a match like you had with Kazarian and Christian, this is where JR is going to shine.
I'm also swallowing Arcade Anarchy. So here's the deal. And see, now here's the deal. I really enjoy these kind of matches because it is fun. And I know a lot of people are like, well, it doesn't sound like Matt really likes fun on the podcast. And that's not true. I just like fun that makes sense. Now, the return of Chris Statlander, the return of one of the 2/3 of the best friends that I actually enjoy, because I only have an issue with Chuck Taylor, Trent's mom pulling up in the van and Trent hopping out and attacking Miro. And then you had the fun shit like the prize wall where they talked about how many tickets the chair cost and all of this stuff. I enjoyed the shit out of this. Statlander coming back and taking out Penelope, Trent returning. Like, we got two big returns in one match in cool different ways. And the match, for what it was exactly what it was supposed to be. And it was fun. Now, do I necessarily, I think the reason it main evented was because of the returns of Trent and Chris Statlander. Otherwise, I don't know that I would have made this the main event.
Yeah.
But in the end, for what it was exactly what it needed to be, and it served its purpose. And I had fun the entire time watching it. So I'm swallowing that whole thing.
I mean, like I said, it was exactly what it was supposed to be. I didn't expect it to be anything more than what it was. It wasn't bad. It just like it was the main event. I was like, I was just like watching, like, man, like really, this is how they're gonna close off the show. And the returns were very nice touch. I think that was the big highlight for me. Again, the match wasn't bad. It's just I'm not invested in Chuck Taylor. I'm not invested in Kip Sabian, and Miro is okay. The only person I gave a fuck about was Orange Cassidy, and it's kind of hard to get invested in a match where you're just not invested in the characters involved. And that's what kind of did it for me. If, like, let's say I don't know, you put like a Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa in that kind of situation, obviously that's going to be fantastic. It depends on the person. It really depends on who's in there. I didn't personally hate it. I just didn't care.
I don't know if Trent hadn't returned and we hadn't had the Chris Statlander spot, if I would have enjoyed it as much as I did. But those are key aspects of this match.
Yeah.
Her popping up out of the claw machine, Trent's big return, joining the best friends, and then the hug at the end, even though Chuck Taylor was a part of it. I mean, those were key aspects of why I enjoyed this. So I love Trent.
At any point would you start liking Chuck Taylor if he started wearing Chuck Taylors?
If Chuck Taylor wears Chuck Taylors, I will completely turn my opinion of Chuck Taylor around. or if he changes his name to something other than Chuck Taylor,
I think he goes by Chucky T too.
it's the same thing. It's just taking. That's like me calling you Daddy Delgado. Your name's still fucking Vince Delgado.
True.
So, no, like I said, I'm swallowing that. Now I'm spitting specifically Cody versus QT with Arn Anderson as the enforcer, the special guest referee. And here's why. I don't know who the three guys from the Nightmare Factory are that came in and helped just destroy the Gun Club and Cody and Arn. And I'm not saying that going forward, I'm not going to be invested in these guys, but because I don't watch Dark, I don't watch Elevation, I'm not familiar with these guys. So you just had three unknown guys come in and wreck established talent out
To
of
be
nowhere.
fair, that's
Which
kind of what they did with the Nexus and
didn't
with
see
the
that.
Shield.
I mean, I've gone back and watched it. Didn't see that in the moment. Again, part of my gap of when I stopped watching wrestling and I focused on vagina for a while.
Shame on you. How dare you?
Well,
get your priorities straight, man. God damn it.
I also don't like that Red Velvet, for whatever reason, was the one that was able to stop QT from killing Cody. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure QT trained her.
Yeah.
But he also trained Big Shotty Lee Johnson, and they wrecked Lee Johnson. So like, I don't know what the relationship is there or why she was the one that was able to get through to QT. And honestly, they don't need another faction. They really don't. Especially one led by QT Marshall.
Look, I'm all about factions, and when they're done right, they can be perfect. Go over to New Japan, they had almost every single person is in a faction, but that's because these are kind of like, it's kind of like gang warfare. They're treated like established gangs. That it over there, it would be like if NWO, DX, Undisputed Era, Evolution were all factions. They're established top factions, not just something random like the fucking Hardy family or where the fuck Matt Hardy's doing now.
That's my point. Is you've got the Dark Order, you've got the Bullet Club, you've got Matt Hardy's shit, you've got the Nightmare family, which is still kind of a thing because you still got Lee Johnson and Dustin.
Yeah.
And you've
Death
got
Triangle.
The Death Triangle.
Inner
You've
Circle,
got the Gun
Pinnacle.
Club. You've got the Pinnacle. You've got the Gun Club. Now you've got whatever the fuck this shit is with QT. It's oversaturation.
Yes.
It's oversaturation. There is a such thing as too much, and this is too much for me. So that's why I'm spitting that. You got anything specifically you want to spit, like the Bullet Club's Lucha Bros stuff, or did you want to swallow that? I personally did not like that match for the simple reason that it was a lot of standing around waiting for people to jump on me spots. And the more I see it, the more it bothers me.
So I think the main thing I want to spit is anytime I see a 6-man tag on AEW now, I just want to spit it. Like, here's the thing. I love Lucha Bros. You know, I'm like one of the biggest Lucha Bros mark there is, specifically Penta. But I saw it was a 6-man tag. I'm like, I don't fucking care. And I didn't care. I didn't watch the match.
Laredo Kid was good too. I enjoyed Laredo Kid.
I've seen Laredo Kid. I like him too. But it's just a scene. WWE gets a lot of shit for random 6-man tag matches, but the minute AEW does it, AEW literally does it every fucking week. I don't think I've seen a single week without a random 6-man tag.
6, 8, 10, 12-man tags.
Yeah. And it's like, why can't WWE, like,
I'm sorry.
I hate it in general. I just hate it in general.
El Dorado Kid. Shout out to Justin. He's now El Dorado Kid.
El Dorado Kid. Nice. I also want to spit just QT Marshall being a thing.
I will say I did. Yeah, I agree. I'm spitting QT Marshall and a stupid fucking apple. I did think the Bucks were going to turn on Mox, and they didn't, and that kind of surprised me at the end of that whole segment.
I do want to swallow the segment with Don Callis and Matt Jackson, where he just gets him to the side and just kind of like, hey, you know, like you hurt Kenny Omega. He chose you. Like, he didn't choose. Like, he chose you guys. He didn't go to AEW because of the organization. This is the best place for him. He chose it because he wanted to be with you guys. And he
called him a cold, heartless bastard who's
I fucking loved it. And I think slowly but surely they're gonna turn the Young Bucks heel and have them realign with Kenny Omega. I think that should be the end goal.
Possibly. I'll also swallow the women's tag team match. Tay and Sheeta versus I just enjoyed seeing the bunny wrestle again.
The only thing I want to swallow is Tay, and that's it. And that's about it. Tay Conti is the only thing I want to swallow.
You don't want to swallow Nyla?
No.
Why not?
No. I actually no. And like between all four of them, even the bunny is like I don't like the bunny anymore. It's really only Ty.
I enjoyed having the bunny back in action and them actually utilizing her. I didn't need the Dark Order shit and the Hardy family shit ringside
Nope.
during all this. That's a whole nother thing. But yeah, no, Tay's fantastic. I'm glad she's getting the push. NXT kind of fucked up by letting her go, in my opinion. Like, you kind of lost out there.
No, I mean no, because it's kind of one of those situations where in the environment she was in, she wasn't ever going to get that opportunity, even though it is NXT. Just like in actual sports, like sometimes you need to have a guy go to a different situation and they flourish there and actually develop and become the person they're supposed to be. I think unfortunately Ty Conti, wrong place, wrong time. There was the women's division stayed loaded, and in WWE maybe if she was on main roster she would have been able to flourish a little bit more. But NXT was just too oversaturated with the women's roster that like was it a loss for NXT? Yeah, but are they hurting?
No, they're not. I'm not saying they're hurting. I'm just saying they had a talent in Tay Conti and they didn't utilize her like they should have. So, in my opinion, they lost out on letting her go because now she is a boon to the AEW women's division, which is a good thing for AEW. So, like,
I think between her and Britt Baker are the two big draws to that women's division right now.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Are you spin or swallow in AEW?
I feel like I'm being very pessimistic this week, but I'm gonna spit AEW as well. I didn't really enjoy like there was some good stuff, but overall nothing really like overwhelmingly good for any of the three shows we've talked about so far.
Trent Beretta's return is going to allow me to swallow AEW. Shout out to Robert Roode, hotter than a heat vent Trent, and his mom's van, Sue's van, were back on my TV, and it made me happy. And that's all I need from a wrestling show is to give me something that makes me happy. And Raw did not do that. SmackDown gave me more to be upset about than to be happy about. AEW gave me a lot that was just like, okay, it's there. And then something that I really, really enjoyed. So I'm going to swallow AEW this week. All right. The show that we're probably going to spend the most time on. NXT. We got Cameron Grimes still trying to partner up with Roddy. Roddy still has anger issues and loses to Cameron Grimes and then quits. We don't know if he quit the company or the night or what, but he quits. Got a Ciampa versus Walter package, an Escobar promo where he makes an open challenge. He defeats Tyler Breeze, and then MSK comes down. And we get a little statement from GYV. We got a weigh interview. Basically, Johnny's talking about the Gauntlet Eliminator and who's going to win. And he talks about having Austin Theory win so that he can have an easy night too with basically a finger poke of doom.
Well, actually, it was Johnny that was upset about my. And why are you even in it? And then it was actually Austin Theory. It's like, have you ever heard of the finger poke of doom? Mm-hmm. And it's like that killed wrestling. It was like, yeah, but we're still here. So like, I don't know. It, like
we'll get into it more.
We'll get into it.
The Way defeats Gigi Dolan and Zeta Ramir. And then we get the Fire Pit and their dildo launching tank. We have a continuous thread throughout the night of Giant Gonzalez fucking up Io Shirai, beating Zoe Stark, and then eventually Io Shirai at the end of the night getting her comeuppance. We have a Kushida interview. Pete Dunne confronts Kushida about who's the best technical wrestler. Prime Target Cole versus O'Reilly. Team Ninja loses to what's supposed to be Tian Sha, which we'll get into if we talk about that. Because I definitely have that here as one of my swallows. We have Frankie's debut announced for April 13th. We have a Ciampa promo where he talks about the importance of his necklace and becoming the Psycho Killer. Again, we have a Finn versus Cross promo with a Finn training montage. We have the Battle Royal for the Gauntlet Eliminator.
Was it a Finn montage or a Cross montage?
It was Finn training in a montage.
What? No, because I swear it was Karrion Cross doing like the catch wrestling stuff.
No, it was a Finn promo. Finn versus Cross, and then afterwards you had a promo from Finn where it showed him doing a training montage, getting ready for his match. During the Finn versus Cross like video package, they showed some of that stuff, but after that ended, we went to Finn Balor, who talked about.
Okay. I think I missed that. That's why
his shit. And then we had the Battle Royal with the final 6 members getting their spots in the Gauntlet Eliminator. So, what are you swallowing from NXT this week?
I think almost everything. I don't think there was a single miss on this show. I'm starting to sound like a fucking mark for NXT. Granted, I do have the NXT like Takeover Chicago.
See, this is why I'm glad next week we're going to do a separate NXT Takeover show where we just talk about the 2 nights of Takeover, and then next week on our normal show on Friday it'll be Raw, SmackDown, and AEW with a couple other things mixed in there. So look forward to that next week, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to get 2 episodes of the Smackin' and Raw podcast, a 2-night review
twice next week
of Stand and Deliver, and then a Raw AEW SmackDown show. So you get us twice next week, because every week I'm like, oh, what did you guys swallow from NXT? You guys are like, everything. Let's talk about everything. And it's like, fuck. The whole point of this is to not talk about everything. Let's talk about what we loved and what we didn't love.
To be fair, I feel like we're making amazing time with the new format, Matt.
I agree. So
we don't have to talk about everything, though.
I do love Cameron Grimes still trying to partner up with Roddy, still trying to push this. He did the Cameron Grimes music mixed with the Undisputed Era music. He had the t-shirt made, which was fantastic. And then Roddy's just like, I don't get Roddy. Like, you have no friends anymore. This guy's here. He's offering you gold, and he just gets pissed off and then loses to Cameron Grimes on top of it and quits. Like,
I feel like Roddy is Squidward and Cameron Grimes is SpongeBob, annoyingly like trying to be his friend next door. And I think that's the dynamic here. It's SpongeBob and Squidward. And unfortunately, I'm loving Cameron Grimes. I want to be friends with Cameron Grimes. He's got money. He can pay for dinner. He can buy me a PS5. He can buy me a new apartment. He can give me a new car. Like, anything for money. Like, why wouldn't you want to be friends with Cameron Grimes? He wants to revive and keep the Undisputed Era brand alive. Why wouldn't you want
what
that?
did he rebrand it? It was Grimes something.
Fuck. I have to go back and watch it.
God damn it, Vince.
God damn it.
You got one job.
You're the one that takes the notes too.
Yeah, I know. And I've got to take notes for 4 shows. So when I need you to fill in something, that's what you got to do. And if it's NXT, I expect you to have everything I need for NXT. It's the one show. The one show. We talked about this.
I know. I'm dropping the ball.
We're not going to talk, unless there was a specific video package that you really enjoy that you want to get into. We're just not going to talk about the video packages, because all they are hyping matches for Stand and Deliver.
No. We don't need to talk about any of them.
We got a promo from Escobar. He says he basically is the cruiserweight division.
Facts.
That Lucha Libre is the predecessor of the cruiserweight division, and he is the future of Lucha Libre. Therefore, he is the division. He has an open challenge. Breeze accepts. Escobar wins the match. Breeze gets beat down after the match. MSK comes down and makes the save. And then during the standoff, the Grizzled Young Veterans are up on the screens, and they stake their claim to winning their tag team match and the tag team titles come Stand and Deliver.
Fuck, I don't know who I want to win that triple threat.
GYV.
MSK, I think.
GYV.
Yeah, wait, wait, what? GYV. God damn it. I don't know why the abbreviation fucks me up so much. But for me, I think the ranking would be MSK, Legado, and then Grizzled Young Vets.
I think MSK benefits more from having GYV win this triple threat match and then getting the titles off them after a lengthy feud than they would getting the titles right now.
Oh, you're 100% right, but I still think that it should be MSK to fucking win those titles. You're talking to a man that watched these as a rascal. I've met them. I've got to see them wrestle live multiple times. I'm more invested in MSK than I am with Grizzly Young Veterans. I just want them to have gold. You thought I stand Angel Garza. God damn it. This is exactly it. Just how I stand Angel Garza is how I stand the fucking MSK. That's how much I want them to prosper. Anyone that I love, I want them to have every single championship and just be happy and successful in life. And that's what I want from MSK. You're right. They'll benefit more. But you know what they'll benefit from too? Having the championships.
We did not see Jordan Devlin tonight. Who do you want to win between Jordan Devlin and Escobar in a ladder match for the Cruiserweight title? We're on opposite ends here again because you want Escobar to win, correct?
Duh.
I'm going back to NXT UK and I want to see Jordan Devlin win. No. Don't fuck that. So listen to me. And I've made this point to you before, so this should not be any surprise.
No,
Jordan Devlin got screwed out of having his Cruiserweight title run.
Boo-hoo.
It was supposed to happen because of COVID. There are a lot of cool things they can do with that Cruiserweight title over in NXT UK should he take it back over there. Jordan Devlin's also Finn Balor's protege, who's talented as all hell, despite some of the misgivings that we may have in his personal life, which apparently is just about half the roster between NXT and NXT UK. So, like, you just basically cancel everyone. Allegations. But Santos Escobar losing the Cruiserweight title allows Santos Escobar to move on to the North American title or maybe even the world title. Like, he has that in him to where he doesn't need to be trapped in the 205 Live Cruiserweight division. And on NXT, those are all possibilities. So I would rather see Devlin carry that championship and unify those titles and move Escobar onto something bigger and better than have Escobar stuck as Cruiserweight champion and just send Devlin back to NXT UK.
I like how you're trying to frame it as Devlin being champion. It's going to do so much. It's like, it's such a good thing for Devlin to be champion, but you make it sound like Santos Escobar being champion. It's like he's being trapped. He's being oppressed by being champion. Like, what? Like, what? That's kind of what it sounds like. Like,
that's exactly what I'm saying. So here's the thing.
No.
Escobar has done everything he can do for the Cruiserweight division in this run. If he beats Devlin, there is nothing he is going to gain from continuing to be Cruiserweight champion going forward. Devlin has not fought anyone in that Cruiserweight division as champion other than Escobar and whoever he beat to become champion, and one or two matches he's had in NXT UK. I don't want to talk
about who he beat.
Yeah, exactly. And one or two matches he's had in NXT UK. So Devlin earns more from having a run as champion than Escobar, who really has no one else to compete against for that title. If Escobar loses, we get to see Escobar compete for the North American title or the NXT title. Devlin losing this doesn't gain anything from losing this other than going back to NXT UK.
Matt, you make fantastic points. All of them are great points, but you're still wrong. Santos Escobar should always stay champion.
All right, if you don't want to see Santos Escobar elevated and move on to do,
I want him to win all the belts. I want him to be the Triple H meme and have every single championship.
No. I got it. You don't want to see good things for Santos Escobar. You just want to see him be Cruiserweight champion. You know what? We'll take him off NXT. He'll just exclusively be on 205 Live.
Whatever. Moving on.
We got the Way defeating Gigi Dolan and Zeta Ramir. I'm not familiar with Zeta Ramir. Obviously, Gigi Dolan, we know.
Kelly.
Wasn't the best match in my opinion. Definitely looked like the quote unquote jobbers here need a little more seasoning. It had its good points, but it also had its rough points. Big thing for me here and why I'm swallowing it is the Way named the time and place, and it's going to be at Stand and Deliver, and the Fire Pit accepted, and then for all the shit that people give Shotzi for howling or Ember for not having a great promo. And don't get me wrong, Ember doesn't have a great promo, but Ember has a better promo than, like, let's say what we got from Cesaro. Like,
yeah,
he can talk. She may not have zingers and one-liners and be someone that you can't wait to hear on the mic, but she, in my opinion, she's not terrible. And she, again, is one of the best in-ring competitors in that women's division across all three brands, hands down. And Indy got popped with the dildo launcher, which I absolutely loved.
Of course he did.
Shotzi, swallowing Shotzi 7 days a week and twice on Sunday.
Can't disagree with you there, man.
You got anything or no? You moving on?
No, let's go ahead.
You want to talk about Roddy quitting?
No, I think we already talked about it.
Well, we just said he quit, but like he was supposed to be the Gauntlet Eliminator. He did not show up, so it was 11 instead of a 12-man. We have no idea what's going on with Roddy going forward.
If he wanted us to talk about him, he wouldn't have quit.
Giant Gonzalez gets confronted by Io and takes her out on her way to her match against Zoe Stark, where she defeats Zoe Stark, and then Io attacks Gonzalez again after the match and gets dropped. And then Io attacks Gonzalez in the hallway and gets put through a wall and just keeps trying to attack Gonzalez and gets fucked up until the very end of the night, where Io calls out the Giant. We got a big pull apart and a brawl that ends with Io going off the top rope into the pile of women and laying out Giant Gonzalez and standing tall, going into Stand and Deliver. My money, well, first off, my money's on the Fire Pit to defeat the Way, and my money is on Giant Gonzalez walking out NXT Women's Champion.
This is the first time since she's won the title where I am afraid that Io's actually going to drop it.
Because you put her through a fucking wall?
Yeah. You don't get put through a wall like that and not like lose confidence in that wrestler, you know? Shit, when Shayna stuffed Dakota Kai in the locker, I'm like, oh well, fuck Dakota Kai, she's not winning nothing anytime soon. You know, you just kind of like lose confidence in someone. You know, trust me, I'm a Bulls fan. I've lost confidence in people.
I'm a Bears fan. I've lost confidence in people. Well, I was a Bears fan.
Yeah,
I lost confidence. I'm no longer a Bears fan.
But no, yeah, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Io retains, but man, it doesn't look good for you.
My money's on the Giant, baby.
I don't want to put my money on this one.
As Reek would call her, Miss Pardon My Back walks out.
Pardon my that poses something. Man, she needs to change that up. I'm not feeling it.
Then we got Team Ninja. So it was supposed to be Team Ninja. They announced the Team Ninja versus Tian Sha. So because this was a tag team match, this led me to believe that Tian Sha, whether it was Boa or whether it was Mei Ling, whoever teamed with Xia Li in this tag team match, that told us that the group is Tian Sha, not the alternate personality of Mei Ying, not, you know, we had a bunch of different theories of who Tian Sha was, because it was very, so this kind of solidified for me, Tian Sha is the name of the group that Mei Ying created that features Xia and Boa. Now, Xia went into that match on her own in a 2-on-1 handicap tag team match. Caden Carter decides to go and get in Mei Ying's face and gets poison breath.
I don't fucking know.
Poison powder,
cool.
like I was gonna say, the fucking Venomoth over here with the poison powder, like
oh, man,
laser the fuck out. Xia Li hits the finisher, wins the match, defeating Casey, and poor Caden Carter is just left KO'd, needs to go to the Pokemon Center to be revived.
I thought it was great. It was solid. Made Xia look like a badass.
Made Xia look like a badass. We're getting more from Mei Ying, which I absolutely love. The entrance is phenomenal. It's a spectacle.
Perfect.
Love it.
I think the last entrance that was that great was Alistair's.
Yeah, that is also a spectacle that we're never going to see again. You want to talk about Frankie? So we're following this little, I'm assuming it was either like a miniature husky or a Pomeranian. We're following this dog as it runs all around the performance center, and it runs up to a pair of high heels, and then it says April 13th, Frankie debuts. I believe the going theory is Frankie is Taya Valkyrie, and this is confirmation that this is Taya Valkyrie's new name.
Could be, makes sense. Honestly, maybe I wasn't looking at the screen, but I didn't see Frankie. That's why when you're mentioning Frankie, I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? But then you talked about the dog. I'm like, oh, that's what he's talking about.
No, the
I'm
dog
intrigued.
isn't Frankie. Frankie is the woman debuting
Yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
April 13th.
Um, it could be Taya. It might be Taya. I feel like I've seen Taya with that pup.
That's why I think that's the prevailing theory is
Yeah,
that's Taya Valkyrie,
I'm
aka
with it.
Frankie.
Yeah, let's go with it. I'm all about it.
Now the question is, does she debut as a baby face or a heel? Because coming off of her big win at Stand and Deliver, Miss Pardon My Back, Giant Gonzalez holding that NXT title. That's a hell of a first feud right there, is having Taya Valkyrie step up to the challenge.
I think what they're doing with Gonzalez is they're gonna slowly have her win the title, and then she's gonna feud with Dakota Kai. Kai's gonna turn on Gonzalez. Gonzalez is gonna be a pure on babyface, kind of like what they were doing with Rhea Ripley. Dakota Kai is gonna be the heel to get the heat on her, and then Taya Valkyrie, Frankie, whatever. She's gonna be a heel. She works better as a heel, honestly. Like haven't seen too much of her work, but I've seen her in person live, and I've also been able to see some of her Impact stuff. So I know for a fact that heel Taya is best Taya.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I do want to talk about the Ciampa promo because we talked last week about how Ciampa had that necklace ripped from his neck, and he talked about how he was given that before going into neck surgery from his wife and his daughter, and why it was so important to him. He also talks about chasing the dragon, which I don't know if you know this, but is a euphemism for heroin, but also just like addiction. Like he's saying,
Yeah.
this is his wrestling addiction. He's chasing that high. He's chasing the dragon. He says he's going to chop Walter's head off, and he says everyone that he loves, everyone that stuck with him and supported him, and he's going to show them that Ciampa is still there. The psycho killer is still there. We'll
Good.
see that at Stand and Deliver.
Hopefully he shaves his
Yeah.
head. I think that's what he needs to do.
And he's fighting for something. He's not
Yes.
a man fighting for nothing.
This is the first time I've seen Ciampa be very enthusiastic about anything in a good while now. So this is actually what Ciampa needed, something like to just sink his teeth into. It's one of the matches I'm most looking forward to.
I agree. Last but not least, Gauntlet Eliminator. Our final six are Leon Ruff coming in first, Swerve coming in second, Bronson Reed coming in third, Cameron Grimes coming in fourth, Loomis coming in fifth, and LA Knight is the final entrant in the Gauntlet Eliminator to determine who is going to face Johnny Gargano on night 2 of Stand and Deliver. My money is on Dexter Loomis.
Yes.
Dexter Loomis was money this entire battle royal because he just stood there looking sexy yet intimidating. Nobody really fucked with him. LA Knight went over there and talked a little shit, but didn't really fuck with them.
Speaking of Dexter Loomis, did you see Indy Hartwell tweet a screenshot of him commenting on her post saying "nice elbow" and she's like fangirling about it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I fucking love it.
He bought his time. He went in. He helped them eliminate Bronson Reed. Cameron Grimes at the end, when it's those final three, is trying to pay them off. He's like, "Here, you take this stack of money, and you take this stack of money, and you both just jump out." Mm-hmm. And LA Knight looked like he's like, "You know what? That's not a bad offer. What do you think?" And then Dexter got rid of Cameron Grimes and attacked Cameron Grimes. And then we got those two fighting, which led to LA Knight winning the Battle Royal. So big debut win, lost to Bronson Reed, big win in the Gauntlet Eliminator for LA Knight.
Up and downs with LA Knights. I thought the match overall was pretty good. My original favorite was Pete Dunne because I thought, like, why not put the title on Pete Dunne? Pete Dunne
didn't even make it.
But I love the way they fucking did it. Was having the hoverboard locked in on Pete Dunne, and both Kushida and Pete Dunne being eliminated. You kind of like planted the seeds for this beforehand with the whole like Pete Dunne Kushida interaction, and it led to like this intense thing. I loved how this one match built up another singles match that I'm very excited for at TakeOver.
And they did announce that we're going to get that match at TakeOver.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
My only thing was at first I was like, I really love that everyone that's in this gauntlet eliminator is new, has never been a North American champion. And then I remembered, oh wait, yes, Leon Ruff has. So it's not all fresh talent, but
Well,
almost all fresh talent.
well, Leon Ruff though, like yes, he was North American champion, but did we really expect him to be like? I feel like he's slowly creeping his way up into that North American title status. I think he's just one of those guys that he can be champion again and again, and we won't really be upset about.
Yeah. NXT spit or swallow.
Um, I'm actually gonna swallow NXT. So
As am I. Best show of the week.
NXT. Thank you. As it
A
should
lot
be.
to swallow here. There's nothing I'd really spit.
Yeah, I think
I could do without all of the video packages, but I get the reason for them.
mhm.
Um,
It's the go home show. If it
and the
wasn't the go
Prime
home
Target
show,
stuff was great. Like it
yeah.
always is. Like that stuff's good, but and like you said, it's go home show. Vince. Speaking
Yes.
of Prime Target, Colin O'Reilly.
Yes. So, oh, sorry, I thought you froze there for a second. You just weren't doing anything. I was like, so with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly just going into this bitter feud, two best friends turned rivals. I want to take a chance to go ahead and count down my 6 favorite best friends turned into rivals feuds in general. New segment on the
What are you
show.
calling this segment?
We're gonna be calling it Vince's SCS 6. So it's kind of like a countdown, similar to the top 5, top 10, but it's a nice little sweet spot 6. It rhymes better with 6. It just flows off the tongue, and 6 is just my favorite number in general.
I personally like Vince's 6-star picks. So let us know what you like better. Vince's 6-star picks, which will be 6 picks, or Vince's SES 6, even though he's not SES Vince anymore.
See, you know what? SES is still my handle everywhere. I'm still SES Vince. Matt just refuses to call me that just because I no longer fall into the Straighter Society category.
You got to live the gimmick. If you don't live the gimmick,
you know what? If you don't tell people, they wouldn't know.
Live the gimmick, not lie to our listeners.
Are you trying to tell me the Undertaker is really a dead man?
Yes.
Stop it. Well, with that being said, I'll start off with the number 1 on the list. Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens. Festival of Friendship was one of the best breakups of a tag team in general. The feud itself wasn't the best. The WrestleMania match probably was hurt by the fact that it wasn't for Kevin Owens' Universal title, which is what the whole like tension between the two guys initially started. Oldberg came in, fucked everything up, and it turned out to be for Chris Jericho's U.S. title. Regardless, that breakup was fantastic.
I want to clarify just to make sure everyone understands. Vince is counting down his 6 picks for best friend breakups in honor of going into Stand and Deliver next week.
Yes.
Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole's breakup / feud. So this is 6 best friends who broke up and feuded. Number 6, Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens.
Exactly. Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens. Obviously, for the Festival of Friendship segment alone was one of the best segments that I have watched. And again, just to clarify, these are my 6 that I lived through, that I like. You guys are more than welcome to go into the comment section, both in YouTube and Pornhub. Let us know who you think would be your 6 favorite feuds, or just favorite feud in general, or just tweet at us at the show or my personal Twitter. Next up, number 5, I have Sasha Banks and Bayley. Not only their main roster feud that they just recently had, but their NXT feud that they had. Their NXT Takeover Brooklyn match to this day has been talked about by other women's wrestlers, saying that match inspired me to be a women's wrestler. That inspired me to join pro wrestling and actually take this on. Then they were the first women to main event a takeover, which to this day they kind of like set the precedent for. Like, are they the best feud? No, but I'm just saying these are my favorite feuds.
And then they gave me blue balls for 14 years before they actually had the big breakup.
No, this is mostly about their NXT feud.
I understand that. I'm just saying, as best friends who broke up, I spent like 4 years waiting for this. They teased me and they teased me and they teased me and they edged me and they edged me and they edged me. And then finally they let me blow my load just last year.
Well, to be fair, that's some people's kinks. And we don't kink shame around here, man.
We don't, but it's not my kink.
Number 3, going back to NXT, and probably one of the first original best friends turned rival feud, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn wins the NXT title the same night Kevin Owens debuts on NXT TakeOver. He's the first one to congratulate Sami Zayn after he wins the title and then decimates him, hitting him with a pop-up powerbomb on the apron, the hardest part of the ring. Shout out there. So I thought that in general was one of the most intense feuds in NXT. And then even on the main roster, sometimes it was hit or miss, but the match was always good. I'm not sure if it was Payback or Battleground, but they had probably match of the year at that point. And also, they're gonna do it again at WrestleMania, and I've always wanted to see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. And the fact that Sami Zayn's the heel and Kevin Owens is the babyface leading into this WrestleMania could be very interesting. The match is gonna be really good, and just their NXT feud alone, specifically, is what makes making their spot in this list. Next up, we have Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, and the whole summer debacle. A lot of people like to give it a flag because of the whole custody of Dominic stuff at SummerSlam.
Dominic on a pole match.
but the match itself was great. The feud and the story was fantastic. This was Eddie's second to last feud before his passing, so I'm a little bit more invested into it. And this is when I became a huge hardcore wrestling fan, and I was watching on a weekly basis. Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio tore the house down at WrestleMania 21, and this kind of led into a dark path. Eddie wanted to get one win over Rey Mysterio, and that he let that ruin their friendship, cost them the tag team titles, and his beatdown on Rey Mysterio is one of the most gruesome beatdowns I've seen by any man towards his best friend. So when it comes to best friends turning into better rivals, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio is clearly up there for me. Next up, number 2, if I'm doing my math correctly, we just talked about both these men, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa. I was there live in person when Tommaso Ciampa threw Johnny Gargano through the Titantron, like LED, whatever thing. At some points in this feud, towards the end, it felt like it was overkill. But the way these two guys came about, two random singles guys that just were thrusted into a tag team in the Dusty Cup. Then they became best friends. They struggled. They became DIY. They eventually prospered into being one of the best tag teams in NXT, then turning on each other. That feud catapulted them to being one of the most mainstays in NXT right now. Right now, you can't think of NXT without Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa. That feud alone made them bigger stars than they were beforehand.
Number one can only be one of two things. And I have two feuds in my head that I feel should have made this list. And I can guess which one didn't make the list.
Uh-huh. Do you want me to give you number 1 before?
No. I want to talk about the one that didn't make the list. Because if this is your number 1, I'll be highly surprised. Because you've called this man mid at best. But we just saw the implosion of Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, which I do feel like deserves a spot on this list after they proved you wrong on Sheamus as a singles wrestler and turned your perspective of this man around. That feud should have been considered. And am I correct in saying it's not your number 1 pick?
It is not my number 1 pick. It was gonna get an honorable mention before the number 1 pick.
Okay.
Because it's in recent memory. It was fantastic. However, it didn't have the longevity of all these other feuds. Yet. It's still early on. Maybe if they go ahead and revisit Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, this could be in that list, and I might bump out Sasha and Bayley. Because no offense, the intensity of Sheamus and Drew was just more higher.
Why would you not bump out Kevin Owens and Jericho when they're number?
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. That's the one I would bump out. Sorry.
He's like, I'm gonna kick out my number 5. Fuck it.
But with that being said, number 1, it's gotta be Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. It's gotta be Triple H.
Gotta be Triple H versus Shawn Michaels.
The founding members of D-Generation X Shawn Michaels leaves because of injury. Triple H grabs the ball and runs with it, forms a DX Army. Shawn Michaels later comes back. We look like we're going to get a DX reunion. Triple H says, fuck no to that. And we have one of the best feuds in the early 2000s. Fucking fantastic. That SummerSlam match to this day is one of my favorite matches. That, what was it, like that 3 Stages of Hell match that they had? Their Hell in a Cell match, the triple threat match with Benoit at both Mania and Backlash. I know. He who shall not be named, Voldemort. Let's call him Voldemort from
Nope.
now on. No?
No.
Okay. Well, with that guy, that match was great. Like, I thought this feud was fantastic. So much so that unlike any other like feud in this list, this was actually a showcase mode in WWE 2K14. So they had their own video game reenactment on theirs, which kind of has to put it at number 1.
And I agree with your number 1 pick. And I want to remind everyone that Vince's picks are based on things that Vince watched during his time as a wrestling fan. So things that he was not alive for because he's a child, like the Mega Powers imploding, things like that, were not included on the list. And that is why. So if you're like, oh, how was the Mega Vince is 12, so he didn't get to see that shit.
Exactly. Also, shout out to Shawn Michaels and Martin Jannetty. Even though I didn't watch it, it's made such a great impact that now everybody's like, who's the Shawn Michaels, who's the Martin Jannetty.
And if they want to bitch at you, Vince, where can they find you on Twitter and Instagram to tell them how they feel about your either 6-star picks or SES 6?
SES 6 just rolls right off the tongue a little bit more.
Go to 6-star picks.
Anywho, you can go ahead and follow me at SCS Vince on Twitter and Instagram. You can go ahead and follow the show's Instagram page at Smackin' Raw Pod. That's we'll go ahead and maybe we'll make a poll there. We'll see what happens.
Also, don't you have a federation called 6-Star Wrestling that this would also kind of plug? And if you made yourself 6-Star Vince instead of SES Vince, we could tie all that in together. Neither here nor there. I'm just snowballing here.
No. Go on.
Just saying. You guys can find me on Twitter or Twitter only at Matt Ritter. That is MATTRIDDER. You guys can follow the show on Twitter at Smackin' Raw Pod. Also, facebook.com/group/Smackin' Raw. Come check us out. Very relaxed, very chill group there on Facebook. We have chats. If you're interested in doing that for every show, jump in, start conversations. We block and get rid of all of the negativity. Travis and I moderate that ourselves. So if you guys like us, that's the kind of content you're going to get. Also, The Creation World, the banner under which Smackin' Raw exists. Go check them out, Twitter and Instagram at The Creation World. That's THECREATIA. Facebook.com/Creation World. And then also we have Super Flash Year of Tomorrow, which is back. That is Facebook.com/Super Flash Year of Tomorrow. And that'll get you links to that show if you are a fan of the CW DC universe. And also coming very, 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 very soon.
Finally.
Do you even know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Dungeons After Dark.
Hell yeah. I've seen the Google Calendar. I know what's up.
Yes. Dungeons After Dark will be coming. So if you are a Dungeons and Dragons fan, or you just want to hear me be completely ridiculous and talk about mythical penises and fucking unicorns, come by and check that out, because that'll be fun.
Who wouldn't want to?
Exactly. Other than that, I've got nothing else, Vince. How about you?
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Creation World. Go ahead and subscribe over there.
All of those links are at Matt Ritter. You guys can go there and check that out. Follow the link tree, go to the Pornhub, go to the YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I agree.
Let us know what you guys thought is your favorite, or you think is the best friend feud rival thing, because like this is just WWE stuff.
You're just trying to push. You're just trying to push me closer and closer. 2 hours, aren't you?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
For Daddy Delgado, I am the Warden, Matt Ritter. We are Smackin' Raw, and we are the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub.
Later, y'all.